So much has happened with Conor McGregor within this past year that at this point, nothing is really surprising. The guy clearly spends 90% of his life being out of his mind on liquor and nose beers. And even when it should be logistically impossible for him to be loaded, it still seems like the effects of his lifestyle are permanently embedded within his physiology, manifesting an overly energetic behavior that makes people visibly uncomfortable.
The pads isn't your body. The pads isn't your chin. I want to build up from slow-mo, like literally stepping in and exactly where I want the punch to land.
And as much as I want to get on my high horse by letting out a diatribe about how sad and disappointing it is that this once-in-a-lifetime superstar that served as an example to up-and-coming athletes of what you can achieve with razor-sharp focus and a dream, let the money corrupt them and turn him into some unstable and overexcited lunatic that constantly makes a fool of himself in front of the camera, I just have to be honest and say that I look forward to his monthly crash outs more than I do most UFC events. Because even though he's completely lost the plot, the man just has a natural gift for being effortlessly entertaining. From his facial expressions to the random words and proverbs that he chooses to use and just the overall ridiculousness of the things he dedicates his time to, the Conor McGregor show just doesn't stop.
And now entering the octagon, the notorious President of Ireland, Conor McGregor. What fucking right I will, of course, you're crazy. I've been going up on a Thursday. I got your girl in, even though it's Tuesday, but we'll do Thursday.
And in this latest episode, Conor tries to become the president of Ireland while also being the co-owner of a bare-knuckle boxing federation, a restaurant owner, a record label executive, and a family man. Now, how can he possibly do so much with only 24 hours in a day, you ask?
That Thanksgiving for your snout, Daddy. I'm talking about cocaine.
Ladies and gentlemen, an amazing day for Greenback Records. I'm super proud and excited to announce the signing of the biggest girl band since the Spice Girls. Introducing Sweet Love. Woo! Over here, we have the beautiful Venice.
Hey guys.
We have the beautiful Honey.
Hi.
Gorgeous Jasmine.
Hey.
And gorgeous Maya.
Hi.
We have new music coming soon, real soon. Stay tuned and follow us on @SweetLove.
Regardless on where you stand on what happened between Conor and Nikita Hand, signing to a guy that was found liable of assaulting a woman just 4 months ago, with multiple cases still on deck, is a level of career sabotage that either signals complete incompetence or just not believing in your artist at all. And I know that I shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I'm not exactly shocked that their manager is a 40-year-old boy band member that dyes his beard jet black, because that's precisely the type of individual that I would expect to make a deal with Conor over a snow day or two, if you know what I mean. And it's a shame, because while I halfway expected these girls to have no real singing ability, after watching some clips I realized that every single member is actually talented and deserves a lot better than to be a member of Sweet Love, Conor McGregor's personal girl group. I mean, just look at Conor's face in this picture. That totally looks like a guy that's ready to bend over backwards to make sure that his artists succeed in the cutthroat music business, not like a man that's ready for his artist to bend over for it. Never mind. Luckily for them, Conor's attention is fragmented into 1,000 pieces these days, so he probably forgot that they were even signed to him as soon as they left his site, especially considering the fact that he would soon reappear in the middle of the White House briefing room talking to the press about the immigration issues happening in Ireland, in what has to be one of the most legendary cokehead moments in history, giving Conor a real argument for being placed in the GOAT conversation next to the likes of Charlie Sheen, Rick James, and Bobby Brown. Hopefully the St. Patty's Day celebrations seem to be a bit tame this year, at least by Conor's standards, as this is how they had him the day after last year.
I'm blessed to have entered into the movie alongside him. He was patient with me. He gave me guidance and I just took it. You know, we had a good rapport on set. He has 75 movies made. I have 75 bar fights made. And that's it. We had a good back and forth.
Now, I'm far from a political person, but from the commentary I read online, it seems like a lot of Irish people are actually begrudgingly agreeing with what McGregor is saying, but feel like while the message is strong, Conor is way too controversial to be the one delivering it. Of course, this is nothing but another challenge for a notorious one, as outside of being a famous Irish face to help promote St. Patty's Day, the underlying reason for his visit to the White House seemed to be a soft launch of his own presidential campaign. And he even has some words for the Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin on on his way out to the car.
Conor, the Taoiseach says you don't speak for the people of Ireland. Your response to that?
I am an employer of over 200 people, almost 300 people in the country of Ireland. He's an employer of none. Every available metric available to us has shown that the government of Ireland currently has failed the people of Ireland. In 10 years, Dublin city centre has gone from one of the most safest cities in Europe to one of the most dangerous. So shame on him for saying that, speaking down on an Irishman. I won't speak about him personally. Throw a jab, I could throw many jabs at them. I could throw jabs handily at them. However, I speak on the metrics, and the metrics show they've failed the people of Ireland. They do not represent the people of Ireland.
Now again, I'll stay away from the actual content of what he was saying, as I don't know enough about the situation to form an opinion, but what did draw my attention was Conor's speech patterns, which seemed more appropriate for going off on a tangent against your ex-wife to a stranger you bonded with over 10 shots of Casamigos in a hole-in-the-wall bar at 2 in the morning than answering a press question outside of the West Wing of the White House. And this is what I mean about Conor being in a permanent state of inebriation. I don't think he risked going to the White House while being under the influence, but even when he's supposed to be sober, his jerky movements and emotional tangents indicate that something's not quite right. Like, why is he so hype? Every time he gets asked a question, he gets the same exact burst of energy that a dog gets when you pull out a treat. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I really want him to follow through with his presidential campaign, just because I know that no matter how hard he tries, he will not be able to stop himself from crashing out. And I really want to see what that's going to look like, but for now, I suppose I have to settle for his BKFC press conferences.
Some of these boxing organization fighters and some of these mixed martial artists think they're just going to rosy on and mosey on over here, and it's going to be all sweet and it's a little retirement package. Think again. This is as real as it gets.
I love that Conor's energy is so volatile that all that it takes to get him to jump from a relatively relaxed state to full-blown pro wrestling promo mode is just saying one line.
This is as real as it gets.
It's almost as if you're witnessing his pre-stage appearance ritual hit his bloodstream in real time.
This is the real game right here. Bare knuckle fighting championship. And nothing in the space of combat sport comes close. We have popped every other promotion like a lead balloon.
Now normally the expression is go down like a lead balloon, which makes logical sense as lead is heavy, so if a balloon was made out of it, it would surely go down. But when Conor is in one of these flow states, he probably does feel like he could pop a lead balloon, so who am I to correct him?
And it's always great to be here on Thursday night. You know the song, I've been going up on a Thursday. I got your girl in, even though it's Tuesday, but we'll do Thursday. We got a big setup coming up. We've got an after party. We'll play that. We'll for sure play that at the after party.
Now it looks like the lame-o buzzkill D. Devlin wasn't around, so you know that after party was actually good. Somebody probably got their ponytail yanked again. I know that much.
And then our main event, Howard H.D. Davis against Lewis, the baboon Palomino. The baboon. The man is a baboon. The man is an absolute baboon, and HD is HD, razor sharp.
Now when I heard this part of the press conference for the first time, I had legitimate tears streaming down my face, because while I understand that Louis Palomino's nickname is actually the baboon, the way Conor pauses and then proceeds to call him an absolute baboon in an attempt to give him a compliment had me on the floor.
The baboon, the man is a baboon. The man is an absolute baboon.
I get that he was using baboon in the same way that people use the words beast or monster, but it just doesn't sound right. Could you imagine if this was a female fighter that he was talking about? Like if Amanda Nunes won her fight in devastating fashion and he proceeded to get on stage and call her a baboon? It just doesn't work as a compliment, but that's exactly what I mean when I say that Conor is effortlessly entertaining. There's nobody else in MMA that's this unintentionally hilarious.
Let's take some questions. Can we take some questions? Thanks, man. It was an amazing evening. If you have a question, I'm gonna come right over to you.
Conor, you keep saying that you're gonna fight in bare knuckles, so when is it gonna happen?
You know, like I said, I've got 2 fights on the contract. I'm in negotiations. Last week something happened to me. I went to the White House, and my country is in my, my heart bleeds for my country right now. So there's a lot of stuff going on back home. I'm happy with what I've done. You know, there's something else for me that's in my gut right now. And that's kind of where I'm going. So we'll see. Greatness don't rush. also. Greatness does not rush.
So it seems like Conor is dead set on running for president of Ireland, and while I don't know how that will work logistically with everything else he has going on, I'm very excited that it's happening. Because to be honest, in 2025, I'm not overly interested in seeing Conor back in the octagon. Don't get me wrong, I'd like to see it, but mostly because of the lead up to the fight with the all but guaranteed unhinged press conferences and antics. But with this presidential bid, I get to see that with the context of Conor being surrounded with career politicians, and that is really intriguing. Because I know he'll flip out, that much is guaranteed, but I want to see how far he'll actually take it. And if it reaches the levels of his press conference with Khabib Nurmagomedov, is there going to be drinking? Is some poor elderly politician getting called a rat? These are questions that I need to be answered.
If you were to be president of Ireland, would you contemplate of fighting and being president at the same time?
And now entering the octagon, the notorious president of Ireland, Conor McGregor. What? Right, I will. Of course, are you crazy? That's part of why I want to do it. To be announced as the president of Ireland having a fight. Imagine that. But you know, for sure. Hell yes. Hell yes.
Props to this guy for asking this question, because it's not even something that popped into my head, but of course part of the reason Conor wants to be president is to be introduced as such before his fights. I don't think anybody would ever think otherwise.
I don't want to get into politics here. We want to talk bare knuckle and what we're about. But to let the people know my plans, or to let my political adversaries, we'll call, my plans, they plan ahead then to stop it or to stifle it. So I have many, many moves that can alter and correct Ireland and its situation where the political elite have a grasp on the power and it is fully removed from the people.
And you just know that after Conor walked off stage, David Feldman let out a deep sigh because he knew he'd be a hostage for the rest of the night. Forced to sit there with the Kevin Hart eye-at-ass face as this rant continued well into the early hours of the morning, with Conor eventually yelling at Adam at the top of his lungs.
Yeah, thank you so much. David Feldman, bare knuckle team. Bravo! I salute!
Look, I know it bumps people out that Conor will never go back to the way he was in 2015, and obviously, if the charges are to be believed, he's a pretty despicable person. But at the end of the day, white Michael Jackson is still Michael Jackson, and fat Elvis is still Elvis, so regardless of where he's at in life, Conor will always be entertainment personified. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video if you liked it, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button with the notification bell next to it. And if you want to support this channel further, become a member by hitting join if you're on Android or desktop, or the link in the description if you're on iOS.
And that's it. I'm going to keep going. I'm here with the US administration. I have the backing of Trump, President Trump, and it's about following through, you know. So let's see. I stayed put in Washington at a lot of great meetings, and we're on we go. On we go for onwards for Ireland, and that's what I'll say.